Pursuing inauthentic goals is a cheat code to low self-esteem. Let me break it down. One of the main contributors to having low self-esteem is having a lot of failures in your past. So the more you look back on your journey and see failure after failure after failure in attempts to reach certain goals, the lower your self-esteem is. Basically, you're building an identity of a person who will not reach the target or the goal that he or she sets for himself or herself. You are reinforcing the story that if you choose to pursue something, you will not have the capacity to reach that thing. Then we can conclude what the opposite would be. A history of success and forward movement towards goals, not perfect movement, but forward movement, and decent amount of success in reaching goals and targets that you set for yourself equals higher or overall high self-esteem. Because you have been building the identity of a person who has the capacity to move forward. A person who has the capacity that when he or she chooses something, they will move towards it. Again, there will be maybe some detours, there will definitely be challenges. We're not talking about straight upward line movement towards a goal, but there is definitely forward movement. Now, what's the deal with inauthentic goals that I mentioned at the beginning? Well, most of you have heard of two types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. When we are intrinsically motivated, that's a motivation that is deeply personally relevant, attached to certain values or responsibilities or duties that we have. Values that we hold highly, responsibilities that we have taken on and embraced, duties that we have also taken on, accepted, embraced. Intrinsic motivation is the most sustainable, most powerful source of fuel on the journey towards your goals. While external motivation is an unsustainable source of fuel. External motivation or extrinsic motivation is, as the name says, motivation that comes from outside and initially can give us that kick, but it being the main source of fuel on the journey towards your goals is not sustainable. We are not counting on the fact that there is almost any goal that is purely intrinsically motivated. There is always a combination of two, but the question is, what is the dominant fuel source? Well, here is the thing. If you are pursuing a goal that is inauthentic, it is always dominantly extrinsically motivated. And it's not about the facts, objective details of the goal. It's your relationship with the goal. Because I could be aiming to get in shape because I'm attaching certain values to it, a certain maybe responsibility towards inspiring my loved ones, or the value of being physically full of physical vitality and strength and vigor, or experiencing life to its fullest because I am physically capable to do so. Or I could be pursuing the exact same goal for externally motivated reasons. It would be nice to post Instagram photos of myself shirtless. It would be cool to go on a beach and, again, show off my body. And as I said, there is almost no goal that is purely intrinsically or purely extrinsically motivated. There is always a combination of two. But if it's primarily extrinsically motivated, it's an inauthentic goal. And that is a goal that you almost certainly will not reach. Or if you reach the early milestones of a goal, because we know plenty of people who have managed to get in shape being purely extrinsically or mostly extrinsically motivated, if you reach those initial milestones of the goal, you will almost certainly not be able to play the long game. So what does this tell us? This tells us that an inauthentic goal, which is dominantly extrinsically motivated goal, is a goal that you probably will not reach, or you will fail to play the long-term game. What does that tell us? it is almost a perfect way to ensure building low self-esteem. Because if you design your life around pursuing extrinsically motivated, inauthentic goals, you are making a contract with yourself to fail a lot, because it's an unsustainable source of fuel, that extrinsic motivation. So you're choosing a goal that is not truly your own. Next thing in line is that goal is going to be extrinsically motivated. Next thing in line is that extrinsic motivation is unsustainable source of fuel. Next thing in line, if you have a bad source of fuel, you will not be able to play the long-term game, and you will fail to achieve the goal. Which means, next thing in line, that's another vote to the bucket of identity called I am the type of person who fails, which means low self-esteem. And it all started with an inauthentic goal. So that's why I said setting and pursuing inauthentic goals. Cheat code to low self-esteem. Why is this important? Well, a lot of people just want to have goals and pursue them. And it is extremely important to have goals. We have that knowledge from psychology that a life consisting of goals is always perceived as a more fulfilling, meaningful life than a life that doesn't have concrete goals, that then those goals create a journey. However, we cannot rush into having goals, because if we rush into having goals, then we are just setting goals for the sake of setting goals and falling into trap of setting goals that are imposed on us either by the, let's say, traditional standards of the society, or what is happening more often nowadays, we are setting goals that are imposed on us by social media and pop culture that are not probably your truly personal, authentic, unique, personally relevant goals. So what then happens is this whole spiral that I explained. That's why I want to propose this to you. Make a pause before setting a goal and committing to a goal. I'm not advising you over-analyzing what the goal is, because there is the opposite end of the spectrum where a person doesn't move in any direction because they're waiting to figure out their life's purpose or mission. That's also wrong. We want to be moving towards something, and we want to almost always be moving. We want to have that sense of momentum that I always talk about. However, instead of rushing into a goal, consider this: values, responsibilities, duties, as opposed to would be nice goals. Would be nice. It would be nice to be able to travel the world. Is that deeply attached to your values? Because there are people out there for whom freedom of movement is one of their highest values in life, or overall freedom, and their sense of freedom is really attached to freedom of movement. Maybe you don't hold that as one of your main values in life. Maybe that's not a value that you are really deeply attached to. We could say that all humans value freedom, but maybe you've just seen one too many reels of people backpacking the world, and now you think that the foundation that you have set for yourself in life so far is worthless, and you want to scrap all of that and start traveling the world. Have you actually sat down with yourself to consider how authentic that goal is? How personally relevant it is? Is it driven by must be nice, would be nice, and a very base level want? Or is it a deep yearning for something? Is it something that is based or connected to a value of yours? Is it a responsibility that you have taken on? Because let's be real, goal doesn't always need to be something, that is just for you, or shouldn't be something that is just for you. What about responsibilities that we adopt and say, okay, if I'm adopting a responsibility to take care of this, or to do this, or to inspire these people, or to impact this community, or to make an impact here in my part of the world, my portion of the world, as Nietzsche said, the person who organizes their portion of the world. It's a responsibility. You're driven by responsibility. So I'm asking you to pause and set a goal based on, and goals based on values, your values, responsibilities and duties, which then leads us to next step. When was the last time that you took 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15, 30 to think or journal on your values? Because I would really be curious. Can you now pause the video? Or let me finish the sentence and then pause the video. And answer, what are the 3 main values for you in life? Is it courage, curiosity, adventure, integrity, friendship, love, truth, growth, stability, security, safety, education, knowledge, exploration? Do you know? That's a task for you. Take 5, 10, 15, 30, however many minutes you can take to sit with yourself. You can just think about the values, or you can journal maybe on them, but exit that session, that journaling / meditation session, exit that session, end that session having identified your 3 main values. Then from there, go into goal setting based on values, responsibilities, and duties. When it comes to responsibilities and duties, I believe almost every single person watching this has enough self-awareness to recognize major responsibilities and duties in their life that they could adopt, accept, and embrace. And then when you have that, when you have, okay, here are my values, responsibilities, and duties, and all this other stuff is noise, then even when you're setting a goal that for other people is extrinsically motivated, maybe for you is going to be intrinsically motivated, because you can attach it to your values, duties, and responsibilities. Or you're going to be pursuing goals that make no sense for other people, but they make perfect sense for you. In any case, remember that it's not the objective external specifics of the goal. So someone can pursue losing 10 kg or 50 kg or pounds, whatever. They can aim to lose that amount of weight and be dominantly extrinsically motivated, making that an inauthentic goal. Or someone can pursue the same number, the exact same goal, being dominantly intrinsically motivated. The question is, have you done the process of seeing what is the main source of fuel? What are you attaching this goal to? Are you attaching the goal to what other people will say and the amount of validation, approval you will get? Or are you attaching the goal to the amount of fulfillment and meaning you will get from it? I think I gave you decent homework. Do the journaling or meditation on the values. Do, if needed, journaling or meditation, responsibilities and duties, and then consider setting new goals. Thank you.